yeah, it's completely natural for bad habits to start creeping in and thinking, oh, I'm at the end of this challenge, I can now treat myself. I'm going to start being a little bit more flexible, because that sort of accountability and that structure wears off. That is normal. All of these things will start creeping in. So just be aware that, like, for this week, try and make things fit. Try not to let things creep in too much, because obviously they all do add up, and just be aware of what is creeping in. And when food does increase, try and do it through sort of like whole foods, nutrient dense foods first, and then if you do have the snacks, don't sort of be like, oh, right, that's on top. Make it fit and try and think like day on, day off. And also think about where you're at with your journey and your goals. Are you where you want to be? Are you wanting to continue moving forward? Just remember, because you've come to the end of a journey with ELIMIN8, you may still want to keep moving forward. And obviously, ELIMIN8 is on the aggressive side, so make sure you bring yourself up on your food next week. Don't be trying to push it too much more. Your body reacts well to a food increase straight off the back of a diet. A lot better now than it will in 2-3 weeks time. It's called sort of like a rebound effect. So like, trust the calories on week 9 and potentially week 10. If you've got further goals, and this is going to bring me quite nicely onto Claire's question group, do sort of monitor obviously week 10, but definitely give yourself a break from dieting. You need to like set your body's hormones, reset its energy levels, and then you can always diet again from there. But don't try and always do things in one stint, because you will make things harder for yourself, and you will find yourself tired and hungry. Oh, what's yeah, sorry, my screen. Sorry guys, that's not happened for a few weeks. I did get it fixed and it hasn't happened, so I'm not sure why that's gone on again. I'll be calling them tomorrow. Yeah, so make sure the diet's not, you trust yourself with it, because your body will react well, which brings me, like I said, nicely onto Claire's question. Claire, can you just do me a favor and repeat like the question, just because I've had to connect to a hotspot on my phone. I don't want to take any risk with the connection. I can do
Sure,
my
hold on. What did I say?
I think it's all
I
about
said, yeah, it's just like would be great to talk about setting goals and calories targets for like after ELIMIN8 to enable us to continue on our own. Like, what do you recommend for steady weight loss over a longer period, like 3 to 5 months?
So this is what I was talking about last week or the week before, about reversing the deficit. So for example, if you're in a 500 calorie deficit, you bring food up to a 300 calorie deficit, you're still going to lose weight. You're still going to be on the right track. All you're doing is slowing down the rate of fat loss. So for example, if you were losing a kilo a week and you still down, and then you bring it down to 0.5 kg a week, you're still in a fat loss phase. You're just able to manage your energy levels a little bit better, which is important, especially the longer you go into a diet, because you are less likely to crash. So in an ideal world, you want to be losing about 0.5 to 1% of your body weight per week. That is a good sustainable rate of fat loss. You can go somewhat between 12 to 16 weeks of fat loss before you sort of need a break. After 16 weeks, I would say you need, again, a 1 to 3 week break, 1 to 4 week break. Some people take up to like 8 weeks break from dieting. And again, it comes down to how hard you dieted, how many refeeds you sort of had, how many breaks you had in that, how many weekends you sort of overate. But this is why, like, it's best to sort of try and stay within targets each week within a decent range, so that when you can have these breaks. So off the back of Eliminate, I'd give yourself at least 1 to 2 week break. And when we say break, it doesn't mean going overeat. It means bringing yourself up towards maintenance. And then you sort of go again. And ideally, if I had someone for a long period of time, what I would do is I'd diet them down for, say, 16 weeks, give them like a 3 to 4 week break, diet them for 12 weeks, 3-4 week break, 8 weeks. And then you should be by then in a very, very good position. And that's the sort of process you take over a long period of time. And then when you're in that position, you just do sort of 8-week stints. Like, I give myself 8 to 10 weeks, ideally before any holiday now. I wouldn't ever give myself 16 weeks, probably because I don't need that. And the leaner you get, the harder it is to diet for longer periods. So sort of the leaner you are, the less you need to diet. So in answer, does that sort of answer your question as to what in, or do you mean like specific calorie numbers, etc., etc.?
No, I think that's good. And so, like, for example, just to make it easy for maths wise, if your maintenance calories was like 2000, would you suggest like dropping it down to like 1700 on a long-term basis? And then would you do the same as like Eliminate, when you like drop it down every like couple of weeks?
No, it's subjective. This is why it's hard to give a vague answer. And this is where people go wrong. Is like, for example, we wouldn't give someone who's 60 kg and someone who's 80 kg the same calories. So, do you know, like, you wouldn't, do you know what I mean? Then that makes sense. So why, when you're on a weight loss journey, say you come down from 70 kg down to 65 kg, why would you keep yourself on the same calories? Okay, there's a big difference between 60 and 80 and 70 and 65. But calories are ever evolving, and then it comes down to preference, goals, time frames in terms of how often you change it. So with my diet, of my weeks, I brought it down and then brought it down again for a quick double jump. So I've done 1 week and then I dumped it down, stayed there for like 3 or 4 weeks, and then dropped it down a little bit, and then I've brought it back up over 8 weeks. So it changes, and it's so subjective, because if you were on 1700 calories for a while and your weight was not moving, what's the first thing you would do? You would drop it. If you're losing weight like 2% per week, but your energy's terrible, you're not like hormonally functioning, you'd bring it back up. Does that make sense? So a lot of it is trial and error, but with guided knowledge. And it depends how long you want to do it for, Claire. And I know that's a crap answer, but it's subjective to your time frame. Your time frame sort of dictates your rate of fat loss and your goal, and also your energy levels. So just think, are you losing? Think about rate of fat loss in terms of your goal. So this will cover the recap as well. So what I would do is I would work out a goal of a sort of, if we're talking scale weight, think of a goal, right? So say, for example, we wanted to lose a stone, let's just call it 7 kg. You're 70 kg. So not you, Claire, this is just as an example, 70 kg, right? So we're talking 0.7 kg at a rate of 1% a week is 10 weeks. So that's 10 weeks to lose a stone. We know Eliminate's a bit more aggressive than that. Some people have lost that. So you're now focusing on, right, I'm working out them 10 weeks at 0.7 kg a week, 1%. 1% is at the higher rate of fat loss on a sustainable amount. So are you losing 0.7 kg a week sitting on your 1700 calories, using your example? If you are, good. And then the next thing you ask yourself, is energy good? If energy levels are good and the rate of fat loss is good, calories are fine as they are, if the rate of fat loss is too slow, then maybe you need to drop your food or up your output in terms of your steps and your cardio. If your rate of fat loss is really good, but your energy levels are hit, then maybe you need to bring your food up or drop your output. Does that make sense? Or have I confused you?
Sorry, I was trying to unmute. No, it does make sense, but I get what you mean when it's like tailored to you for a specific reason.
Yeah.
But it's good to have like a basic understanding. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm probably going to help setting a goal.
Yeah, and that it is so hard, Claire, because like, for example, if we pick me, I'm 76, but less for after my cut. But like, I'm a PT who lifts weights all day, trains 4 times a week, plays football 2-3 times a week, runs on top. So would you give me at 80 kg the same sort of calories you would give someone else at 80 kg who trains 3 times a week and drives to work and doesn't really do any cardio? Do you know what I mean? Because if you base it off calorie calculators and the weights, and if I gave you a number, said double your weight, and that's your maintenance, and take 300 calories off it, well, my maintenance is at least triple my body weight. So I can't really give you numbers other than the best advice I can give you is monitor and make adjustments. Like without going down, obviously using someone like myself as a coach, is like monitor it and make adjustments. But going off, you've got a little bit more guidance from ELIMIN8 because you do have like week 9 calories. So what I would say is like week 9, you'll know yourself. Do you know what I mean? From the last few weeks of ELIMIN8, where weeks 6, 7, and 8 were probably a little bit too tough and unsustainable. Do you know what I mean? You can do it for 3 weeks, but if you were to do that for 3 months, you would crash. Weeks 1 and 2, probably a good rate of fat loss, but is it the right amount for you? And if you've lost a little bit of weight, are you still going to get that rate? So you're sitting somewhere probably between weeks 1 to week 5 in terms of underneath a maintenance amount. But again, that will be subjective to your output and your workout. So I don't want to dwell on it because we can talk about this all day. But if you want a guideline as to something that I found over my experience, get your body weight and triple it and take 300 to 500 calories off that and use that as a start point for a diet and then go from there. So for example, if you're 70 kg, your maintenance would be 2,100, and then just take 300 calories off that and start a diet at 1,800. But if I'd done that for me at 80, 160, 240 and took for 2,100, I'd struggle. So yeah, subjective, but that's a good start point. Anyone got any other questions before we run through a quick recap? Take yourself off mute and address the floor. Don't be shy. We've all been friends now for over 7 weeks. Cool. No questions. Right. Recap. All things nutrition. What's the most important macronutrient? Put in the group or pipe up. Let's take ourselves off chat. Come on. I go on holiday tomorrow. I need some people to bring me some conversation. Let's all talk over the top of each other and cause chaos today. No, is everyone still keeping themselves on mute? No one's
still. Carolyn's answer: protein.
Protein. Yes, good. Why is protein the most important macronutrient?
It helps you feel fuller for longer.
Yeah, good. What else? Any other things? Builds muscle, helps maintain muscle. Yeah, good. Building blocks of your muscle. What does protein do differently to carbs and fats in terms of digestion? Well, that's probably not the best answer. 100 calories of protein by the time it's digested is how many calories? Yes, there we go, Charlotte. Hard to digest, use more energy. So 100 calories of protein by the time it's digested is what? How many calories? Anyone fancy it? Take a guess. Is it still 100? Is it 90? Is it 80? they reckon 100 calories of protein by the time it's digested is 70 calories. So that's why you get more bang for your buck, because it's harder to digest and it uses more energy. It's called the thermogenic effect of food. I feel like a teacher here. I feel like I'm addressing classes. I think this is Kelsey's job. Claire, you'll have to let her know she can take the class next week. What about carbs and fats? Has there been any studies proven there's a difference to a more beneficial carb focused diet or higher fat diet in terms of fat loss? Which one's better, high carb or high fat, or neither?
Neither.
Yeah, well, Charlotte, yeah, studies show there's no difference between, if protein and calories are aligned, carbs and fats don't make any difference to fat loss. The reason I pick moderate carb and lower fat is because I tend to see better results with this, because people tend to have more energy. But yeah, Malin's right. Fat does have twice the calories, so you do get more bang for your buck by having a bit more of a better carb over a fat split. Although fat does tend to make food a little bit tastier. So yeah, win-win, lose-lose, depends what way you look at it. Is everyone competent with MyFitnessPal and meals on the go?
Yes.
Yeah, everyone knows how to use anyone still struggles with MyFitnessPal, saving meals in MyFitnessPal? Good. I'm gonna refeed days. What's the purpose of a refeed day? Again, there's actually no right answer on this.
Does it re-energize you?
Yeah, re-energize.
That's finally like.
I'm with Caroline on this one, so we don't go crazy. Yeah, helps adhere to a diet long term.
Yeah, it helps you cravings out the way a little bit. You can look forward to having a day where you can eat that little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. And it's understanding that, like, it stops you trying to force things like eating out into your lower calorie amount. It shows you mentally as well that, like, it's okay to eat a little bit more some days and weight will still move in the right direction. Fat loss will still come down. It shows you that, like, yes, your weight may spike, but you know it's because of an increase in food, but the next day it's going to give you more energy and you're obviously going to get right back on track, which is good. Then so does everyone have like a meal structure now, sort of understanding when they eat, what days they eat, etc., what time, sorry, so like what days you should be eating every day, but like breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, or breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner, snack? Has everyone got some sort of structure and not eating and grazing completely throughout the day and find that a lot more beneficial?
Yes.
Yeah, anyone still struggling on that front? No. What about meals out at weekends? Anyone still struggling with meals out at weekends?
No.
Good.
I'm not gonna lie, I just like don't track a meal out at the weekend. I just like would enjoy it if I've been good all week.
Yeah, and does it affect your progression, Claire?
Like it did at the very beginning, but now I felt that I'll just maintain the same weight instead of spiking up, which is quite good because I've got into that habit of drinking loads of water the next day and making sure I do my steps.
Good. And I have no issue with this approach. I eat out quite a lot. I don't track every single meal I eat out. What I do try and do is put myself in a ballpark figure. And different parts of the year at different parts and stages of my diet, I will be a little bit different. So if I'm like really far out from a holiday, or I'm just sort of, I don't track all year round, but this is what I would do if I was tracking and I was being, and I did have goals. Like I am personally a little bit further in my journey, but obviously with that being said, if I had a goal and I was tracking, what I would do I'd break it down in stages. I'd understand the event understand the occasion, understand my goals, and be like, right, can I afford to have this meal on track? Should I track in advance? Should I save myself a certain amount of calories? So, for example, if we're talking, I want to use a fair number here, after sort of eliminate, because eliminate is a bit more aggressive. So like if we're talking, we've got 1,800 calories as a refeed day, I think that's a fair number. I would potentially track 600 to 800 calories throughout the day. So we're talking like yogurt, eggs for breakfast, salad for lunch. That should give me 600 to 800 calories, maybe a little snack in between there, a bit of fruit. I'll be prioritizing protein, fruit and veg throughout the day. And then that leaves me 1,000 calories for a dinner. You can pretty much pick almost whatever you want on 1,000 calories. If you go slightly over, it's not the end of the world. If you're out for dinner and drinks, I would prioritize meat and veg or fish and veg, and obviously be a little bit tight with drinks. There will be days of the year and occasions of the year where you do go over this target. You just accept it and move on, like weddings, birthdays, etc., etc. You're not going to have 1,000 calorie meal at a wedding. You're going to go way over this, and you just accept that's a week where your weight goes up. But if you crack on with the other 51 weeks of the year, you're going to probably be okay. But if I'm tight on my diet, I will, and like go on the other end, when I've got something like coming up within 2-3 weeks, I will try track in advance. So I'd put something in, and I'd be like, for example, if I was going like last night, I had a takeaway with my mum, yellow curry stir fry, put it in. Mailing saying I froze. If I froze, can everyone still hear me? Danny, your camera is moving. Can you still hear me? Yeah. Right. Someone said turn the video. Can you all hear me? Just give me a thumbs up. Someone just put yes in the group. Yeah, cool. So, yeah, like I said, if I'm really at the end of my diet, I'll be a bit stricter, and I'll track my food in advance. So like last night, I know I was getting a takeaway with my mum, so I put my yellow curry stir fry. I know eating a stir fry for Thai food just before I go to Thailand for 2 weeks. Don't even ask about that one. But I put that in advance, and I work the rest of my day, run that, because I've got a specific goal with a very, very short deadline. So I sit somewhere in between. Is that what makes sense, Claire, as to why I do that? And depending on the time of the year, depending on the goal, depending on the occasion.
Yes, thank you.
Cool. Following on from weekends, again, remember I said you've got the choice of, you can do like, pick the most reasonable option. Think about like, if you're unsure what you want, because I didn't cover that, just think, right, look at the menu. Is there something that are in like the top 5 options in terms of calories? Or if there's not something in the top 5 that you like, is there something, try to avoid the bottom 5 in terms of like highest calories. Are we all comfortable with scale weight and why not to focus on it? And understanding what spikes your weight. I think Michelle shared something decent today. Like, I sit on the fence with that comment of like, you need to eat 3,500 calories to go overweight to put on a pound of fat, because it gives people too much freedom to be like, all right, I'll just eat what I want as long as I don't eat 3,500 calories over. But the rest of it is good, and we understand why weight goes up. Everyone happy with that? No, it's good, Michelle. It's good. It is good. The only reason I sit on the fence with it is because it sort of like, if you think it's 3,500 calories to go over your current body fat, sort of to put on a pound of fat, you've got to work really, really hard to get it off. But I'm more in the mindset of like, if you creep over, you're okay. But don't give someone like a free range of 3,500 calories over their calorie target and tell them it's going to be okay, because one, they're probably going to panic, the weight's going to go up and they're going to stress. But the rest of it is really good, and it is a good mindset to understand that if you do go over, you're not going to go up as much as the scales say in terms of that. It's just take it from that approach. but it's good. It's good to share them things and keep the memes coming in. Everyone understand the difference between cardio and steps? What's the difference between cardio and steps?
Does your heart rate have to be like over a certain amount for cardio?
Yeah, both Emily and Malin got that one nailed on. Heart rate, so basically using rounded figures, anything under 120 beats per minute tends to be just normal, like sort of low intensity NEAT. 120 to 150 tends to be low intensity steady state cardio LIS, which is a good sort of zone to sit in. And then HIIT is usually 170 plus, and there's that grey area between 150 and 170 where you sit in both ranges. Why do I encourage HIIT LIS over HIIT mainly throughout the week if you're trying to hit 2, 3, 4 days of cardio, or anyone? What's the downside to HIIT? More sustainable to keep up. Well done, Charlotte. Yeah, it's basically just what you're only as good as what you can recover from. So if you go and smash a HIIT session and then next day you crash on your food. So if, say, for example, we're using LIS for HIIT, you do 250 calories a LIS. Next day you do 250 calories a LIS. Next day 250 calories a LIS. And you don't crash on your food. You've done 750 calories of cardio without going over your food. If you go and do one HIIT session of 750 calories, the same amount, that LIS, that ideal HIIT session was better than each individual LIS, but it caused you to feel hungry and it caused you not to work out the next day because you were so sore and you went over your food and you didn't move the next day. Then obviously it's not as good. So that is, HIIT is still good. I do HIIT myself. I play football, which is HIIT, sprints, boxing business classes, been to all of them. So yeah, I do recommend HIIT, but stick to it once or twice a week over 3 to 4 times a week. Weighing yourselves, again, how often should you weigh yourselves? Subjective. If you're trying to hit a goal weight or you're trying to get to a certain figure, there's no harm in weighing yourself every day. If you have a bad relationship with the scales, then obviously you can weigh yourself. I'd say minimum 3 times a week, because especially being female, your hormones are going to fluctuate. The more data you give yourself, the more sort of chance you have of hitting your goals. Again, don't stress if you've got a longer term goal and you're doing something over 2-3 months. If you miss a day of weighing yourself, don't stress. But my scales are right next to my shower, and I shower every day. Maybe not on Sundays, but we'll keep that one quiet. On some Sundays, on a hangover, I might try and push it to the Monday, but we'll keep it quiet. And I'm sure a few of you are the same, so don't lie. But yeah, try and weigh yourself at least 3 times a week, ideally every day, but don't stress if you miss a couple of days, and it's again subjective to your goal. Next up is, so I'm just going through notes, your environment and your mindset and motivation and being conscious of these obsessive. Is everyone okay with that? That's quite a unique subject. No one's got their cameras on, and I'm obviously got mine off and everyone's on mute. Is everyone aware of what I mean by your environment? In terms of like your foods with your cupboard, your relationships, your work environment, people's comments. Yes. Is anyone unsure on this? Yeah, so like you said, obviously don't be scared to keep like treats in your house. Just put a limit on it. When it comes to like relationships, work, and like friends and things like that, make them aware if you've got a goal and try and make it relatable to them. So for example, like at work, they might be like, oh, you never get the bacon rolls on a Friday and things like that. You never get involved, you're too obsessed. Just sort of try and put it into context as to why you do these things. And it's the same with like partners in relationships. It's like they might be into like marathon running, or they may have done like a boxing business white collar thing before, something along. I use boxing business, there is other ones, but I know obviously I'm good friends with people at boxing business, so I'll use theirs. It's like they may have done a white collar event, and I always say to people, why is it acceptable to not drink when you're training for a marathon, or not drink when you're doing a white collar. I'm off the drink. I've got a white collar coming up, and everyone's like, hey, pat on the back, well done, or doing a marathon. Oh, that's amazing. And if you're like, oh, I'm not drinking because I'm trying to lose weight, everyone's like, fucking hell, just give yourself a break. Don't be so hard on yourself. Yeah, pushing yourself in them other events is a lot harder than pushing a diet. And in fact, trying to avoid like alcohol and takeaways and food at work is a lot easier on your body than a marathon or a white collar. So it's just trying to make that relatable to them, to make them easy for you. And like I said, be careful always saying like, oh, that looks like a good portion of salad, or that looks small, or whatever. Try not to comment on things. If you ever feel you need to comment on food, just say, oh, that looks nice. You don't really need to say anything else, because you never know what sort of comment can trigger someone's mindset towards food. Work's the hardest. Why is that, Charlotte? Is it comments? Is it the fact there's always some cakes and biscuits in an office? What is it about work you find the hardest? The cakes, yeah. Again, this is, like I said, this is what we do in when you've got that meal structure and you understand everything. It makes it a lot easier. So for example, if we were talking, you were breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, and you saved yourself 300 calories for a snack every day, and you ended up digging in and having a cake, you've got two ways to look at it. You either, if you're in a 300 calorie deficit, you take the cake, have it as a 300 calories and write off and exclude that day as a deficit. Or what you could do is, like, if you normally have, say, Greek yogurt, I use the same examples. If you use Greek yogurt, what you could do is, like, that day just replace the Greek yogurt with the cake, but try not to do it every day because of the micronutrients and feeling hungry. Yeah, like, it's just making it. Colleagues will always be less supportive than friends and family because you're not as open and personal with them. So you won't really say, look, I'm trying to lose body fat, to a colleague the way you would say to your family as well. So just sort of say, or just be stubborn like I am. I went out Saturday night and there was two of us going out, me and my mate. And they're like, come on, come out. And we weren't going to go out. And then I was like, look, I'm not drinking. I'm doing it for me. I've got a goal. And I was straight out of it. And everyone's like, fair enough. And then they all moved on to him, like, come on, just have a drink. And he was a bit like, oh, I could do. And anyway, they ended up pestering him till he had the drink. And the next day he messaged me like, I wish I didn't drink. I was like, you should have just said straight from the off, you're not drinking, you're happy to enjoy yourself, but you're not drinking. I'm not an advocate for being teetotal and being sober. I'm about to have a drink tomorrow. So it's just finding that balance of everything. I'm just trying to smash through all of this. Last topic is all about making the most out of your calories, routine, accountability, and obviously, yeah, accountability for yourselves, accountability from support and coaching. Is everyone happy with like routine and structure now, and understanding that with their food, with their training, and having that routine and structure makes things a lot easier? You almost just become it becomes a lifestyle by having routine. So if you know you go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 12 o'clock, it's gonna get to Monday at 12 o'clock and you're gonna be like, right, it's time to go to the gym, I better go get it done. I eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack. I have my breakfast about 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock, I'm gonna have my breakfast, my dinner. Oh, there we go. I know for my dinner, I somewhat eat between 500 to 600 calories. Today I fancy a stir fry, tomorrow I fancy a jacket potato with cheese and beans. Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, as long as there's 500 calories, I'm going to be there or thereabouts. And that is how you get longevity with your training and consistency over time. And then accountability comes from yourself. Like I said at the beginning on the call with Claire, is like, set yourself a goal. Are you on track? Are you keeping on track? What are you referring back to ensure you are moving in that right direction at that right pace? That's important. Because that is your accountability if you are doing it yourself. For you guys that are either coach with me one-to-one or going on to the next ELIMIN8, you've got me as accountability. You will have in-depth sort of check-ins and we will cover that. I'm not going to go into that because we've covered that already. That is a very, very fast recap. Again, I didn't want to go on that long because I don't want these calls to be like a lesson, but you can talk about fitness and nutrition all day. I'm more happy to talk about ELIMIN8. We'll probably give it another 5-10 minutes max. I know some of you will be wanting to get off, but I want people to talk a little bit more on the calls. This will probably be, how's everyone fixed for Sunday morning, 9-10 o'clock for a final call just to talk about Eliminate? Thank you. I'd rather catch up with you separately. So it's your choice. We can have like a 20-minute call on Sunday to talk about everything and round everything up, or talk now. Claire will be on a plane to Mexico. Yeah, I'll catch up with you separately, Claire. Let's just talk 5 minutes now. Eliminate. What's everyone found Eliminate's changed for them? Let's talk. What's your biggest factor, your biggest highlight out of Eliminate? Come on, don't be shy. Take the microphones off mute. Talk to me.
Mine is my relationship with food.
Good. Angelo's just put that at the same time. Why has that changed, Emily, if you don't mind me asking?
Whenever I try and sort of diet, I always find myself being too strict and telling myself it's kind of like an all or nothing mentality. If I let myself have certain things, then I'll just binge on them. So I tell myself I can't have them. And then obviously that's not sustainable. So I think just allowing myself, I think the refeed days have helped a lot.
Yeah.
Not so much like eating unhealthy food, but allowing myself to have a biscuit or some chocolate or ice cream or something like that, and fitting it within my calories has just taught me that I can still enjoy food and trust myself not to push my luck with it.
Yeah, good. And the same with, like you said the other day, is if you do go over, it's like, right, just write that day off and don't, because one day of overeating isn't going to throw you completely off track. Whereas 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days of being, oh, fucked it, I might as well just carry on, makes a big difference. So yeah, well done. I know relationship with food for a lot of you is massive. Well done for speaking up, Emily, because as soon as you wrote that, everyone else has started to be a bit more confident in writing in the group. So that's why I want people to talk up, because you're all thinking the same thing. It just takes someone to be brave enough to talk about it. Like, I've crashed in the last 8 weeks. I didn't even fancy a takeaway last night. Ended up having it, felt forced to have it because obviously I'm away for Mother's Day. But we all get the same feelings. We all feel certain ways. And that's why this community group is so good and these calls are so good, because you think you're alone. You think you're the only one that can never stick to a diet, or the only person that crashes and doesn't get back. Do you know what I mean? But back on track. But we're all the same. No matter what sort of level you're at, what journey you've been on, we're all the same. So feel free to, like, I'm going to keep the group open for the next few weeks. Speak to each other, share your ideas. It naturally goes quieter towards the end. People naturally drop off. But like Eliminate has given, like as Malin said there, it gives you structure. It gives you a safe place. It gives you understanding. So yeah, make sure you continue these journeys. Make sure you stay positive on your journey. If you've got goals, continue with them, whether you're doing that by yourself, whether you've got a friend in the group, whether you're wanting to come speak to me. I'll always be here. Do you know what I mean? I'll always be there for the chat. I'm sure some of you other guys will be as well. So yeah, keep it up. Knowing how to lose weight, know how to eat. It's all a question of portion and calorie control, understanding. Good lifelong lessons. Taught me about what is actually in foods. That's important. Nutrients are massive when you're on a diet. I actually hate calorie targets. I'm going to admit that right now. And I think having a set number of calories never works long term. I'm going to stick that out there. I've left it to this far, but trying to stick to a calorie target doesn't really work. There's a calorie pyramid, and it's like total calories is the important thing. Calories in, these calories out. But your nutrients, if you aim for nutrient dense foods you enjoy, I think you will build a better long-term relationship with fat loss and weight loss. And that's my personal opinion. So we will go from there. New love for fitness and wanting to improve health, enjoying the workouts, buzzing. Right. Really, really glad all the comments are really, really positive. Hence why you guys are probably still here. Emily agreed with me. Thanks, Emily. I think I'll use some money for backing me up on this call. But yeah, just in summary, fitness is, and from ELIMIN8 is finding something you can stick to through enjoyment, energy, longevity, and accountability. I've literally made that up on the spot, but that is what it is. It's what can you stick to consistently over a period of time rather than day to day, week on week. Just think, what is it long term? And it usually comes down to energy balance and enjoyment. I'm gonna have to record that one and go back and use it. But that is what it is. So yeah, I will send a message out in the group. I tend to do like a little thank you video rather than a call for the end of week 8, but I'll get all your check-ins in. I'll see how we're getting on. Smash the check-in, smash the week, smash the step challenge, and once we've done that, I'll see what you guys want to do. If you want to have another little call on Sunday, because I don't just want it to end, be like, all right, thanks for coming, it's over, speak to you soon. I want to see how everyone's getting on. But ping the questions across in the group this week, and then we'll go from there. Is there anything that I haven't covered that you guys want me to cover lastly before we end up? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No, right, you guys want to get yourselves off to bed or go and have some dinner. But yeah, we will catch up in the week. Smash a step week, please get involved in them. I'm on about 3,000 today, so I'm gonna have to get myself out for a walk and then do my packing and enjoy my holiday. Thank you very much, guys, and I will speak to you very, very soon. Smash the week, looking forward to it.
Have a good holiday.
Cheers.
Thank
Enjoy.
you. Cheers, guys.